Yeah.
Okay. Well, there was the Barbie movie reaction.
I was intrigued.
I am intrigued. I am intrigued. And that's what a trailer's supposed to do for you.
Mm-hmm.
It leaves, like, I feel like a lot of trailers always, like, kind of give you the whole story or, like, all the good bits in it. And so...
And that's what... Okay.
You first.
Sorry. No, I just have this nitpicky thing about teaser trailers.
Mm-hmm.
Because teaser trailers nowadays are just trailers.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, here's the story. And I'm like, no. Because, like, and maybe I'm biased, but I'm like, the one I always go back to of, like, peak teaser trailer is the Scooby-Doo 2 one. It's when they're... So, it's just Shaggy and Scooby walking, you know, because they pass the same thing over and over. Anyway, so they go into darkness, and whenever they come into light, it's like they're in a different position. Then the last time they come out is they have a monster, you know. Oh, we mixed up with a monster. And then that's all it is just, we're coming back.
Okay.
And it's just like, okay, that got me intrigued. What is this? You know, but I will say, as much as I didn't care for the movie, Frozen 2's teaser
Frozen
did
2's
great.
teaser was really good, and it gave us enough to make you go, okay, I really, really am actually kind of excited for this kind of a thing. But then the movie was just disappointing.
So now I hold, like, Scooby-Doo 2 and Frozen 2 as, like, examples of teasers. Pay attention.
It just clips and bits and pieces. Nothing. It gave away none of the story. Like, I did not. Other than we know we had to go find something.
Yes.
That was the only thing, at least in that trailer. And when I think of good trailers, I enjoy a trailer that makes me go, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point of a trailer, obviously. You're supposed to go, ooh, I want to see that. But, like, I'll think of the most, like, the worst marketing for a film I think I've ever seen is Sing. The worst marketing for Sing was Sing. Like, they did great in getting out. Sing is coming out. Sing is coming out. Sing is coming out. They did great in letting me know Sing was coming out. However, they told me every single thing that was going to happen into it. They showed us every single... Like, I remember at that time, it was when the React channel, they were doing, like, every React to Sing. And before Sing came out, they showed every single scene of each character singing as, like, a promotion for it. Yeah, on React. And so we got to see the, you know, huge part, like their audition video, and then their song. And I'm like, why would I go if I know what's going to happen now, you know? Like, Sing has some of the best music ever. Sing 2 did better with, like, the trailers and stuff. Like, kind of gave us more of a hint. We knew we were going out, and it was, like, going to be some kind of on TV thing. But, like...
That's, like...
That's, like, what I would say is
for, like, Scoob, once the movie came out, I am so disappointed with their promotion. Because they marketed it so heavily that it was going to be a origin story movie. And stuff. That was literally, like, 3 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like...
I remember that.
Okay, I do appreciate that I didn't know what the story was going into the movie. But I was expecting this whole, like, big thing of we're going to become a gang, and this is why we're solving mysteries.
So good.
But instead it was just... Yep, we're a gang. Okay. Explain.
Yeah.
Explain.
A and C did not pass through B.
Yeah.
How did we get there?
But I will say... Okay, so, yes, Mario movie. I'm super excited. I will say I'm a little worried that, like, all the trailers and stuff have already given us all the funny
good
parts.
parts.
Yep. That's what I'm worried about. But
Me too. I have that little theory because, like, I mean, they showed us the Mario Karts.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been an awesome scene, and we haven't even seen it yet, so we'll give it more in depth after we've seen it. But I feel like
that would have been awesome to keep secret.
Yeah, and like everyone's like, I hope we see Mario.
Yeah.
I hope we see the cards. I hope we see Rainbow Road. Well, we know we're getting like it looks like they're like you're getting everything you want.
Yes.
Which is great, but also don't give me everything I want. Don't tell me I'm getting everything I want. I want to be able to go and go. Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of high expectations for this movie because, one, the animation is great.
Oh, the animation.
The animation's going to be great. I think the voice actors are spot on.
Yeah.
I'm not a Jack Black fan. I am not. Like, I would call him box office poison, in all honesty. Like, I don't like him, except for when he voice acts. His voice acting is 10 out of 10 every single time. Poe. I think of Poe. I think of, like... And I can't think of the rest of them, like, but I think Poe, I think his Bowser voice in his first trailer, I was like, That's not Jack Black.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Like, I will give it to him. Like, I don't like Jack Black personally, but he's a great actor.
Yeah.
Period. The only problem is he probably can't do serious roles. He could try,
yeah.
but no one will take him seriously because he's Jack Black, which sucks. Which is, you get stuck into those things when you do so many goofy characters. But he is a goofy character. It's probably one of the... I don't know. I'm a goofy character too, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I think that they really nailed it, except for the one voice actor who will not be named, who we all know was a cash grab voice actor. But I haven't seen him yet, and I'm sure he's going to do his best, and he's going to do great. I adore that guy anyway, but like, I don't know.
It do be what it do be.
It do be what he do be. And if you don't know what we're talking about, you know what
we're talking about.
You clicked on this video expecting
Barbie!
And... it was a good trailer. It left me wanting to go, okay, I'll see it.
Yes.
It's obviously a cash grab movie. Like,
yeah.
I say this with all the love. A lot of movies now are just cash grabs.
Oh, yeah.
They are. Sorry, my neighbors are making sounds. A lot of movies now are cash grabs.
Yes.
Like, sad but true fact. Like, think of most of the Disney movies now aren't movies being made to be, like,
you get,
stories.
like, one good one out of 5
sequels afterwards
in 1 year, you know?
Yeah. And I think that that's one thing I think that's just a talking to Hollywood in general now. We're losing our creativity. Except for Elemental. I'm really excited for Elemental.
I think part of it is it's just we gotta, like... and this sounds really mean. But just, like...
Say it, babe.
Get some generations out of here, you know, so we can get these like new generations to be like
younger generations.
Okay, here's my new ideas. Here's, you know, because I don't know it in a way because of how like I'm relating this to government, to creative people, to whatever. It almost feels like these people in charge right now. It's like their last time, you know, bit of time before their retirement, and so they're trying to get as much money before they retire, and so they're just like banking on nostalgia right now. Yeah, before they go out.
Well, I mean, in case you haven't seen it yet, they're making a Moana live action.
Yes.
In case you haven't seen
That's not even 10 years old.
It's not, and frankly, there's not enough nostalgia because frankly, the people who saw it when they were kids are still technically kids.
Like to me, okay, and this barely hits it. I'm like, and even I wouldn't say it is, but I'm saying if we're going to go that way, barely I would say Tangle is nostalgia. Barely.
Yeah. Tangle would be a more likely option to get than Moana. Yeah. And I know, and then there's the thing that makes the world go round and around. It's the money. Yeah. It's the money. Again, shameless cash grabs because, like with this, you know they're going to be like, Barbie movie. Now we can make all these Barbies products. There's going to be specific Barbie movie Barbies. The specific outfits for each character. There's going to be that real Pharaoh character. He's definitely going to exist. Yep. Like, and that's the sad part. Like, people will, like, I think of Encanto. One of the biggest things that they had for Encanto that they banked on was Isabella and Mirabel. Yep. They were like, everyone's going to love these two characters. What they did not expect, if you notice it, there were no toys for Luisa. There were no toys for Luisa at first. Because no one expected everyone to love her. Yeah. And I think coming off of, like, dolls here in the show and Barbie, and then for that, it's like, guys, you need to wait to do that. Like, you need to have the main character on standby, and then you see how the world reacts to it. Because... I don't know. I'm not a business person, and so therefore I will not be...
So, okay. I like to share this story, and I don't think I've ever shared it majorly public, so this is the first time I'm saying this.
Here. Can we, before you say it, can we scoot back a little? I want to scoot back. Can we move... Oh. Look, it's an air mattress. Yes, I know I'm a child. You can cut this part out. Okay.
So, when Disney Infinity was a thing,
I remember that.
I got a tour of their studio, which was up here in Salt Lake. So, this was when, the third game was already out. So, Frozen came out right around the time the first game came out. Yep. And all they did was give us Anna and Elsa. That's it. No playset, no Olaf, nothing. So, and this is partly why I kind of am against Frozen 2, and I'm like, it does not need to exist. Because, so Disney, I learned, and I'm sure every studio has this, but Disney has a specific department to predict what is going to be big next. So how much effort they should put into marketing, what they should make for it, blah, blah, blah. So like we know, Strange World, they banked on that being poo-poo trash. They did nothing for it. So anyway, they thought the same thing. They thought Frozen was going to be trash and no one's going to like it. No one's going to pay attention to it. So put the bare minimum into anything you do with it.
Which is a shock. Which is fair, but only because the last princess movie they did was Rapunzel, I think. Or was it Emerida with Brave? Was it Tangled or Brave first?
No, I think it was Tangled was the last one.
Okay. But like, and that didn't do nearly as good as I'm sure they hoped it would have.
Well, but here's the thing. Frozen, they never marketed that there was music in it. You went into it and you're like, oh, okay, musical. You know, and it's like if they would have promoted that was a musical, then I'm sure initial reactions would have got more intrigued. Just because we eat up musicals.
Yes, we do.
Anyway, so...
Especially with modern media.
Yes.
Like, just think of Encanto and how almost every song went nuts.
So they, for Disney Infinity specifically, they said, you don't need a playset. You don't need a world around it. Just have whatever character. Well, they said, these are the two leading girls. Here you go. Do with that what you will. So then it wasn't until the third game that they were like, Olaf? And they were like, okay, well, Frozen 2 is coming out, so here you go. And so I just sit here and I'm like, Frozen 2 did not need to exist at all. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that initially.
Frozen 2 shouldn't have existed.
No.
Period. The fact that it did exist, you needed to make it better. The music, I will say, in Frozen, and I've said this before, and I'll say it 100 more times, the music in Frozen 2, better than the first one. Oh my gosh, the music was incredible. Yes. The music, to this day, I'm like, it's been years since Frozen 2 came out, and I am not sick of the music for it. Yeah. Like, I can still listen, Some Things Never Change.
It didn't go as crazy as the first one.
It didn't, which is probably part of the reason, oversaturation of the market. But, like, at the same time, it was so good. But the storyline, I could tell you 4 or 5 different storylines that could have made it better. Like, they could have made the proposal thing. I mean, it's a stupid trope that I don't think I fully agree with. Like, the guy keep fumbling over proposing. But if they were going to do it, they could have done that better.
Yes.
Elsa going off on her own, I liked it, but I feel like there could have been a way for the... like, because they're sisters that are understanding their relationship now. And I feel like at that point, Elsa wouldn't have just pushed her sister away after a whole movie about not closing her sister out. Like... the whole then there's the fifth spirit thing, which makes no sense.
Yeah, I was confused about that.
And she's like, oh, and she had daughters. I'm like, she had daughters. Yeah, she had 2 good daughters, but like, what does that have to do with the fifth spirit? How is she the fifth spirit? We have water, earth, air, fire, and ice. Yeah. Water and ice are cold water. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I think the spoiler alert, in case you guys need to know that for Frozen 2, the scene where you find out that their grandfather was evil the whole time, that could have been, like, there could have been some moment where, like, because we didn't know who a grandfather was. She just like, my grandfather died. Oh, he hurt an unarmed person. Or that moment where, like, she's watching the ice, goes, they'll take over the and she goes, that's just your fear. And I'm like, you mean the fear you used to push your sister away? Yeah. Like... oh, I think it's, it might have been Nostalgia Critic. They wrote a rewrite of how Frozen 2 should have gone and how it would have been better. Their version of it, so much better as a storyline. Yeah. If you ever have heard of Nostalgia Critic or Channel Awesome, go look and watch their videos. Say Ashton sent me. Because they are the coolest. Like, they will go through different movies and say, this is how this not great movie could have been better. And they're always better, frankly. That's my opinion. I feel like the movies are almost always better. But I think
the biggest problem is that...
Oh, sorry.
The Disney... Or I shouldn't just say Disney, because it's anyone. Any studio. The heads. It's like, these stories could be so good, but the heads of the studios get their little fingers in them and go...
The creative freedom that they have, I feel like, is not as much as we hoped that they would.
At this point in age. You know, I feel like it should have loosened, but I feel like it's gotten tighter and tighter.
Like, and it's also, there's that... Like, I totally believe in representation of every gender, ethnicity, body type, everything. I love seeing that kind of representation in every film. The problem is that they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. They're trying to let the tail wag the dog.
It feels like, okay, it feels like we have only two sides of cinema right now. It's like either banking off of nostalgia or banking off of woke.
Oh, fully. Because I don't think being woke is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing if you're open to different opinions. I think being woke is being open to other opinions. The problem is, like, for example, I'll use an example, and this is one we've talked about, the Mario movie.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with me sharing this? Okay, cool. So they announced, I don't know how long ago, Daisy is going to be transgender in the Mario movie. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Okay. Okay. The only problem is I hope that they handle that correctly, because that is a delicate thing.
Yeah. When you already have pre-existing characters, it's hard to do that. It's like, I would much rather you just start making new characters and introducing that type of stuff.
Exactly. And it's like, but okay, she's a princess, it'll be good.
Yeah.
Well, Ashton got here last week with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so who's Daisy's
even
voice
voicing?
cast? Who's gonna voice Daisy? Because I'm sorry, if you're gonna say that this character is transgender, own it.
Yeah.
Daisy doesn't even have a voice actor.
No, I don't even know if she's in the movie.
And if she is in the movie, she's gonna be in the background as
like there.
Probably like in the Mario Kart going and that's it. And go, that's probably all she's gonna do. And for me, and in my opinion, I could be wrong. I could be opening myself up in a can of worms here, but like, frankly, I feel like if you're wanting to be represented, you want to be represented, not just a character saying, oh, it's like someone saying, oh, she's gay. Oh, she's gay? Okay, cool. It's like how J.K. Rowling kept adding things to her story after the fact. Like, cool, Dumbledore was gay. That's great. Why does, like, and it adds something to it later on, but, like, this is them before it even gets there.
Yes.
You know? Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's frustrating for me, but, like, I'm cisgender, heterosexual woman, so I don't have as much of a say to this. But I feel like it's like, if you're gonna say something that big and that quote-unquote woke, you've gotta deliver on that. And I'm cool with woke. I'm not mad about that. I'm not gonna be protesting or banning a film because they make a gay character in there. Like, I think one of the best representation that I've seen, and again, not asexual, well, I am. Did I just come out? Me being who I am, I think Strange World, we talked about Strange World earlier. Strange World
that was such a good movie.
Was a really good movie, and it sucked that it was not given the love it deserved. Like, it was such a unique idea. I loved the idea of it. And I think, and we've talked about this too.
It, to me, almost feels like, in a way, quote unquote, this generation's Aristocats. Like, just so under the radar.
So under the radar, no one knew what happened. And those who did are saying, wow, that was really fun. That was a fun little jaunt. And it was a really fun. It was very unique. And I'm sitting there. It was a short movie, though. It wasn't even, it was under an hour and a half. But you could see all the points of it going to be great. And it could have been great, but you could tell no one put
too fast with it.
Yeah. No one put no one backed it as great as it should have been. And I have to say, the way, and like, just in my opinion, the way they handled the first openly gay characters was beautiful. Like, it was so casual. It wasn't like a huge, this is the thing, this is what's happening now, Well, no, I thought it was
the scene with the grandpa, you know, where he's like so you're young, have you snatched up any lads or whatever? And or whatever he says, and he was like, well, and the grandpa immediately, oh yeah, is he charming? You know, it was just like, oh, okay, I gotta switch to this. You know, it wasn't this like,
it wasn't.
I mean, you could see on his face like, okay, I gotta switch up.
Fix that.
Yeah.
It's not ladies, it's guys. Got it. Like, it was handled beautifully. And I think it deserves way more attention just for how normal it was supposed to be. Yeah. Now, granted, I know that there's people out there who have very different opinions than me. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay to have different opinions. It's a good thing to have different opinions because when other people have different opinions, you're supposed to be open to them. You don't have to believe it. Like Ashton and I, there are things that we don't fully agree on. There's some things that we don't fully agree on, but we, like, he's my other half sometimes. Like, you know, like, we complete each other. We are good friends.
Sometimes we have to balance each other.
We do. We really have to balance each other. He'll share an opinion that I disagree with, but I'll be like, okay, you gave me a good point. That is a really good point, and I appreciate that. And we've gone off the rails. I think it's so important to be able to open yourself up and be willing to hear other people's sides, because guess what? You're going to run into more. And I also think, this is me not being a parent, but working with kids. It's important for those kids to learn that too. Because granted, you may not want your kids to be completely exposed to certain things. And that's as a parent. Like, you're supposed to protect your kids from no matter what it is. And if it's your belief system for certain things, that's fine. But you need to recognize that your kids are going to get into it no matter what. And you need to prepare them for the fact that when they see it, not if they see it, for when they see it.
Win.
Because you can't, like, I remember, like, when we were growing up, like, I'm just gonna say, like, maybe, let's just use your example, like, you being gay, like.
So, I had never heard of that, until I was in 6th grade.
Being gay?
Yeah, like, gay was a thing.
Really? I didn't know that.
No, I was very protected in that way, and okay, this is gonna sound really mean, and it's one of those situations where, like, as a kid, you're learning, and so I had these two friends, and I kind of don't feel as bad now because they kind of went against me later on.
I think I know which friends we're talking about.
But these two friends, like, suddenly were starting to get very close with each other and stuff, and I was like, no, I had no problem of them being friends, but it was starting to be like, well, now I'm left out. And so, you know, as a kid, like, my initial reaction was like, oh, you make fun of that because you're feeling left out. Wrong way to go. Wrong way to go. I'm owning my actions. But so when, you know, it came to, like, apologizing, realizing what had happened and stuff, my mom was like, and my mother has come a long ways, so
his mom's great.
Do not take what my mother said back then as where she is now. But she was like, told me, well, do you know what you're saying they are or whatever? And I was like, no. She's like, you're saying they're gay, and that's bad. That's wrong. And I was like, oh. So that was literally my introduction to even gay being a thing. And that is what initially made me go, I can never do that then.
And I think, well, see, and we lived in different households.
Yes.
My mom is a little bit different from yours, from the fact of my mom is like, you get to choose.
Yeah.
This is what I believe.
Yeah.
I think it's right, but you have your ability to choose and find that out for yourself. She was very, you love everybody, even if you don't agree with them. You've got to find yourself. Like, my mom has been incredible. I will stand on a pedestal, but this isn't my channel, so I wouldn't say that. I won't go on that spiel of how great Cheryl Carter is.
She is.
She's amazing.
And again, what I have seen from my parents is, like, my parents lived the very traditional Mormon life. You know, was raised in it, grew up with it, and then just carried on with it. Whereas, like, I've seen, I mean, I won't say specifically for your mom, but, like, just, I would kind of assume with your mom or one of my other friends' moms and stuff, is just, like, although they grew up with the Mormon religion and in it and stuff, they were very much more introduced to, like, gay culture and stuff, and people were closer that were gay were closer to them growing up and whatever.
So
like, because like my parents never had someone really like in their lives that was gay. It was like, oh, it exists, but we've never seen it. So to them, you know, it was just, oh, it's wrong, it's bad, whatever. But they had never seen actually someone who they deeply care about, you know, to realize, oh, you're living a normal life, you know. Anyway.
Exactly. I think for my mom, she's always, and I attribute this to my grandmother and my grandfather. I only have one side of my family. I'm adopted, and my mom is a beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed white lady, so
yeah, that
gives me a little bit. So my mom has always been open to other people.
Yes.
One of my my uncle and aunt, my aunt, so she married into my mom's family, but my aunt, one of her brothers is gay, and he is one of the most amazing men I've ever met. He is funny. He is great, and I grew up with him.
Yeah.
And I didn't, like, I mean, I think that there is a certain point where you start talking about boys love boys, girls love girls. I think that there's a certain point when, like, your kids start asking questions like that. But, like, she told me, I remember very young, I don't remember how it is, but I think my first introduction to what gay was, like, the prospect of gay.
Yeah.
And it was at a family reunion, and we went to a park, and it's a public park, so other people are there. And I remember after the clown had just painted my face with my cousin. My cousin's my best friend. And she was like, and I was going over to the swings, and it was really funny. And there was this like 2 teenage boys holding hands singing A Whole New World, which it's 2 teenage boys doing that. Like, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's just like, I think of like me and my gal friends doing that.
Yeah.
Like, they're just being silly.
Yeah.
But I remember my cousin going, oh my gosh, look, Megan. I'm like, what? They're gay. And I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And she's like, it means it's 2 boys who love each other. And I was like, and that's bad? And I don't remember what her response was, but that was my first introduction to it. And I remember going home in the car after the family reunion going, Mom, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, boys and boys like each other? She's like, there are some people out there who are in love with boys, and some boys or some girls are in love with girls. And I'm like, and that's called being gay? And she's like, that's what gay means.
Yeah.
She goes, you know my Uncle Timothy? I know your Uncle Timothy? I know Uncle Timothy. He's gay. I'm like, oh, so he likes boys. Yeah. And, I mean, my mom has always, and I attribute this to my grandma and grandpa, has always been open to whatever you believe.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't take away from the fact, and this is me being on my religious side, because I feel like I can't talk about my mom without her bringing up her religious side a little bit, is her saying we're all children of God. Like, that's how my mom would say it. And...
well, and even, like, how my brother said it. Because, so my brother, he's the oldest of our family, but... growing up, like, I mean, I was born, and then he just, like, almost immediately, like, gone to drugs, and we would have to find him passed out on a 4-wheeler, and, you know, I mean, he's been arrested multiple times, he's been in rehab, this and that, he's been through it. He's been through it. And so when I came out, I learned this, that basically he told my mom, like, what is he doing? You know, like, because, you know, he's on the path of helping himself now. And so he's realizing a lot of, like, what have I done with my life type of thing. And so, you know, he is using himself as an example of, like, he's not out there getting drunk and getting high and crashing and being, you know, arrested and whatever. Like, he's loving someone. So what is wrong with that and whatever? You know, and so that's kind of where I see it too, is it's like, I could be doing way worse stuff. Way worse. You know, it's like... There's
so much worse than just loving someone.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where it really comes down to, is us as people.
Yeah.
We need to realize that we're all people. And that's sometimes really hard, especially for the people who are horrible people. Or the people who really do not agree with what you do.
Yeah.
That doesn't take away from the fact that there is someone out there who loves them.
Yes.
And someone who raised them, and they may not have been good people either, but it doesn't matter. It's when you start going...
You know, I appreciate you saying that, because I had a hard conversation with one of my exes, and they said basically at one point that so-and-so, I'm not going to be saying names because they are popular figures out there, but that certain individuals out there should not be loved, don't deserve love, and I firmly stood and said, no, I hope someone loves them. I'm like, everybody, no matter what they do, because some people are disgusting out there. But everybody deserves some kind of love. You know, anyway, sorry. And
I fully believe that. Everyone needs, and even if you don't love them, that's okay.
Yes. Just
recognize that there's probably at least one person out there that loves them and cares about them.
Yeah.
Or who would be upset when they were gone.
Yes.
And you need to recognize that. And if you hold that form of respect for someone to every person you meet, whether you agree with them or not, this world would be a much better place if we all just learned to be, and also learned to not be sensitive. If someone, like, unless so, like, some things that people do, I think are disgusting. I'm like, that is messed up. I hope you go to heck. But I also have to remember that just because I may hate this person, they don't deserve, or the people they love don't deserve to feel like they're hated. Like, I think of all those times where someone, for example, in America where we live, we have, I won't say a gun problem, we have a shooting problem. And a big group shooting. That's something we just grew up with.
Yeah.
And it's
so terrifying. Okay, actually, story of this, because of how, I don't want to say normal, but like, normal. So Incredibles 2 came out. At the time, I was dating Mariah. Her and
Amazing woman.
went to go see it together. And I don't know if it was like opening weekend or something, but it was a big crowd. Still, you know, it wasn't like at the end of its theater lifeline type thing, where it's just like the remnant people are getting in to see it. Anyway, so we went in, and like right at the point when the what was the villain's name in that movie?
In the Incredibles?
Incredibles 2.
Something. Hypno.
Anyway.
The swirly dude who gave kids seizures.
Yes. Anyway, so right as Mrs. Incredible is like investigating the apartment, and right when she finds something, and then he turns on whatever, and you know, it's the big flashing scene that they had to put a warning about. But right as that, like, so the person revealed, oh, I'm in the room, you know, whatever, turn on, the entire theater went black. Like, movie shut down, lights are off. Yeah, it was creepy. And literally, all of us, everyone in the theater, was scared, thinking a shooter had gotten in. Yes, and we were about to be shot. What had happened, we didn't know there was a thunderstorm going on, and it cut the power. At the worst time of the movie. Creepiest experience of, like, actual real life I've ever experienced.
Yes, it is terrifying. And the reason I bring this up is because I have a very deep-seated anger and frustration toward people who can hurt people.
Yeah.
Especially, I work with special ed kids, special needs kids in specialized education. I hope I'm saying, there's many ways of saying it. Yeah. And I work in a public school system. And sadly, schools are usually the place that people go to. And it's horrible.
We'd experienced one, I think you're right. Were you there when that happened?
I remember the bomb threats we had at school a couple times.
Okay.
I remember those.
Well, so we had one at one point at the end of the day, and we couldn't leave the school. I mean, we were there.
I remember that. Yeah. It was in sophomore year, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was sophomore.
Or was it?
I think it was junior.
If it was junior, then I wasn't there, but I remember you guys. I remember you guys.
It was junior
letting me know.
Because I was in journalism.
Oh my gosh. Like, no, I remember because I remember you guys texting each other and getting, like, alerts from St. George, like, these kids are safe, and I was like, what the fetch is happening? I was stuck in the seminary building. So, I mean, there's the holiest place for you, the safest place to be, and you just go straight to heaven if you're in seminary when that happens, right? I remember saying that because I have deep-seated, like, I would say almost hatred. Yeah. For people who will scare children to that point. Like, it's a feeling. I just can't stand them. But I have to remember that right now, this person's stupid choice is affecting that person's mother, that
Yeah.
person's sister, that person's cousin. There are people, and then there are those horrible other people who I get just as angry with, who are sending death threats to that family. They didn't have to do with that. That's none. Like, stay the fetch out of it.
Yep.
Yes, you have every right to feel what you're feeling. We all have every right to feel the feelings we feel. Like, it's...
Well,
they're valid.
You know, I mean, this is a different situation, but when COVID was just very beginning, we didn't know, like, we didn't call it COVID yet. So there was, like, this couple that had gotten it on a cruise ship, and they lived close to one of my managers. It was in the same neighborhood. Anyway, so the guy was able to get past it pretty quick, but it lingered with the woman for a bit longer.
Oh, poor lady.
And people, like, she kept, like, having to answer the door because people kept going and sticking stuff on her door, basically saying, "Do not come out here, or we will kill you because you're going to kill us."
That's exactly...
And it's like, are you kidding me?
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I am going to say it flat out. I'll look straight into the camera. Don't do that.
Yeah.
That is messed up. Period. I can say it. I have free speech. But, like, no, don't do that. That's another reason why the hate crime for the Asian communities, don't even get me started on that. Because I was like that. And I hate those people, too. Those people who thought it was okay to beat up people who lived in America their entire lives, but just happened to be their, like, great-grandmother came from Asia. No, that's not okay either. And I think it comes down to, we have to respect each other, even if we don't believe in their opinions. Or even if we don't like their actions. And I think that's something, at least for me, my mom instilled upon me, like, very early on, is people deserve respect no matter what they do. Occasionally, you'll hear my mom say, like, some pretty intense, like, that's not cool stuff for like, to people. Like, there have been some people in the past years who my mom does not like. She does not like them. And she doesn't want them to be on Earth anymore. And there are times where I'm like, I wish you weren't on Earth anymore, person, but, like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be on Earth. And I think I think we have to be, as people, recognize that there are gonna be people we hurt. There's gonna be people that they hurt, other people will hurt. And and then there are gonna be times where we really are gonna disagree.
Yeah.
But, like, I may hate... really hate the people who would, like, come and hurt a child. I may hate those people. That doesn't give me the right to tell them that they should go die.
Yes.
That doesn't give me... I can say it to other people. I can
You're
say...
right.
Like, if I probably would say that to you, like, I hope this person dies.
Yeah.
I probably would say that to my best friend. But the fact of the matter is, you can't do anything to that. And granted, if you don't believe in... Like, again, another awful thing we have here in Utah... in America in general... is we have an issue with, right now it's blue lives, black lives, kind of those kind of movements and stuff. And I think it just comes down to that there always are going to be bad people.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we all need to make a recognize who the bad people really are. Because, as you said, what your brother said, all you're doing is loving a man.
Yeah.
Is that really what the bad thing is?
Right.
Like... I don't know. I feel like if I was ever put in a life or death situation, like in a school, because again, elementary schools used to be safe.
Yeah.
Elementary schools, people were like, no one will ever do that until someone did it.
Yes.
Until someone did it. And I work at a special ed school.
Yes.
And if anyone were to come in there and hurt any of my kids, and they're not even mine.
Yeah.
But if anyone were ever to hurt those beautiful children, y'all, I would not be okay. And I think that that's important for all of us to recognize where is the line of what we're going to be mad at and what we're not. Like, be legit. Like, and it's okay to feel your feelings and it's okay to be angry at different things. I don't know where I was going with this, but, like, it is what it is. I think it's a good thing for us to have this. I think it's a good, like, get to know each other kind of a thing. Because you're sharing things I didn't know about. And I think that that's really awesome. And I don't know. I think... Like... Go ahead.
Sorry, I've just had this thought sitting in my brain, waiting to say it.
Shame.
But, like, you know, kind of going back to, like, my mom type of thing, I do respect that she now wishes that, like, she would have raised us in Vegas. She's like, I totally wish we didn't grow up here in Utah. Because if people don't know, there's a lot more culture outside of the Utah borders.
I'll go
especially
even
St. George.
there. Yeah, I was gonna go even further. I'm like, St. George is its own bubble in and of itself.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Like, I moved up to northern Utah when we were a junior year of high school. And the shock that I had from just going from St. George to here was crazy. And I mean, one of my hard things that I struggle with is people like, in the Utah bubble, you don't get the real life. But I'm like, no, we still get real life. We just get a different form of it.
Yeah. And that's the same with anybody.
Exactly. I think every place has its own little bubble and culture. And it's having to leave.
Otherwise, why would we call them different states?
Exactly.
You know? We would just be the U.S.
And we wouldn't have borders.
Or UA. United America. We're not the
United America. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for us to recognize, like, let's be honest. Like, Texas has its own kind of group of people. Yes. Georgia has its own kind of group of people. California has their own group of people in different parts of California.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, like, and I think that that's important for all of us to remember that. Like, everyone should just get outside now, every now and then.
Yep.
Like, get outside from where you are. And find moments where you can experience other people.
Yep.
And what they live. Because what you know and what they know could be completely different things. And you may completely disagree with what they have to say or do. I don't know. I remember going back to the... No, wait, I lost it. It's gone. It's never coming back.
R.I.P. Lived a good life in your brain.
It did for a whole moment. And it's gone. And you know what? It's okay. And I can accept that. My bottom hurts.
I know. I'm like...
You sit squatting. Ashton's got thunder squats. Look at this. He's squatting.
I'm squatting right now.
I'm sitting on my batuska. Ow. Ah, I pulled my hair.
Oh.
That hurt. Yeah, I think that that's just what it is. And we started with movies. Isn't that interesting? How we went from contemplating how movies infect the world to how we need to just respect each other and it's okay to be different. And I think that that's a good conversation just to have in general. I think the most point of this video that we're making now is to try to get an idea of who we are, but also to talk about things that are important. Because I feel like these things aren't talked about enough. Yeah. No matter where you are. And I don't know.
Well, and I feel like, and maybe a lot of people disagree with me, but talked about without debate.
Yeah, no.
You know, it's like just have the conversation. It's not a who's who, who's what.
Who's right, who's wrong. Yeah.
It's just a conversation.
Yeah, and this is how it should be. Nothing Ashton said to me or said in this situation, I am mad at.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And there may be some things I might disagree with. But honestly, you haven't really said anything I disagree with. I might have said things that you disagree with because it's me.
You know, it's like, okay, I will say, because I feel feelings so much. It's like, I have had many feelings while talking about these, but it's never made me go, I am walking outside this door. Like, I can't be around you, you know? It's like, okay, cool. Like...
It is what it is, and I think it's important to remember that we're not always going to see eye to eye. Yeah. But it's okay. I think that's the biggest thing. My mom and I, using my mom as another example. Sorry, my mom's amazing, so she's like a huge influence on me. My mom and I, there are some things that my mom and I do not agree with on. Like, it is like, nope.
I mean, my mom and I too.
It's like, no, I fully disagree with you on that. But the coolest thing about that is my mom and I have been able to, in the last few years, especially since I've become an adult, to be able to just flat out, and I'm kind of my mom's first, like, adult child, and so it's been interesting kind of watching our dynamic change, kind of, from mother to daughter. It's still mother to daughter, but mother to adult daughter. Yes. And we have had many conversations when you just sit there and you go, I don't think we're going to agree on this. It's like, no, but like, I want to understand what you're talking about. And you'll share it and it's like, yeah, I can see it from this way, but like, I don't think that that's fair. And she goes, you know what? And that's okay. And we leave it at that. And even then we leave it and I'm not angry with my mom. I'm more like, I wish she would see it my way. Like we all have that. Yes. But it's never we all have that. It's just, I wish you would see it my way, but the fact of the matter is she's still my mom.
I could even round this back to movies and stuff. Because, okay, I and I'm realizing this more and more. I'm struggling with people right now with just cinema in general. And maybe it's because of what's happened in these last few months with the Scooby community. But I'm like, I don't care. You know, I'm like, I'm a type of person who I don't put expectations for things. Like, and this is meaning movies or games or whatever. I don't put expectations. I don't put a lot of weight to things or whatever. I just take what we get and carry on. But I'm just like, I am struggling right now internally with so many people being like, and I love Scooby-Doo, but I'm just using it as an example. But it's like something will come out of Scooby-Doo. Like the movie that recently leaked, okay? So the people that have watched that, there's just so much of, why didn't they do this? Well, they needed to do this or this. But like what's bugging me right now is so many people are being like, Warner Brothers owes us Scoob Holiday Haunt. Warner Brothers owes us Scooby-Doo Haunted High Rise. Warner Brothers owes us Scooby-Doo and Crypto 2. And it's like, they don't owe you anything. They don't owe you one single thing. They don't owe you a single, like the Barbie movie. Okay, we're going to go right back into that. They don't owe us the Barbie movie. Just because they put the trailer out, they don't have to release the movie.
That's true.
You know, it's their property. They can do whatever they want. It's like, sure, we want to see it now because it's out there in the world. But like the Scoob Holiday Haunt, I mean, that was so close to being released, and then it just got, I mean, it's done. They finished it, and it's just sitting on a shelf now.
That's dumb.
It's dumb. It is. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, where is it? We didn't get it making. I can't live with my life. Where is it? I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to, because guess what? Sorry, I'm going on a rant now.
No, go on your rant. I've done mine.
I'm like, there is so much content every single day. And so I'm like, I can't tell you how much I've watched in these last few months of just, I'm just going to try this. I'm just going to watch it.
He's done so much exploring lately. It's really been incredible with his horizons.
You know, and like, I mean, yes, some of it has still been in my lane. You know, like, there's still some things I haven't gone out to, like anime. I just can't do anime. I've tried, and I'm like, I can't.
Then don't.
You know, but anyway, it's just like, I don't know. It's bugging me because people get, and it's okay to get attached to franchises. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with loving or getting attached to something, because guess what? I'm attached to stuff too. But like my High School Musical series, I'm waiting for season 4. Okay, season 3 ended in August, and yes, I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready for it. You know, like, time for season 4. But I haven't sat there and just like watched nothing, or just rewatched it a million times. Yes, I've rewatched it, but that's not the only thing I'm rewatching.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like with this, okay, there's the Barbie movie coming out. There's the Mario movie coming out. There's probably like 5 other movies in theaters that I don't know that's out right now.
There's a bunch, right? Like, and I think that there's a bunch coming out too. And
so I'm just like, while you're waiting, don't wait.
Yeah.
You know, start venturing out into other things. I mean, Marvel has 5 things coming out a week. Not really, I'm sorry.
It's pretty much right, though.
Dramatizing that. You know, there's Star Wars stuff nowadays. There's, you know, I'm just like, I mean, even listen to podcasts. You know,
that's
like,
great.
Like, there's so many podcasts out there to listen to. There's so much content. And so I'm like, why are we getting so stuck on one thing? You know, it's like, because that too is partly why I moved on, quote unquote, from Scooby. I mean, I still watch it on my own time, and I still love it and everything, but that's all anybody saw me as, is, oh, you're the Scooby-Doo kid. We were back when we were in school.
I called you my Scooby-Doo dude. Well, I did that, and I was your friend.
We were back in school, oh, I was the Angry Birds kid, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so it's like, no, and that's partly why, too, I've been venturing out. Like, recently I watched Outer Banks. That was a really great show. There's Heartstopper. There's Young Royals. I tried this show, Intertwined. Now they just talked about the new Planet of the Apes coming out, the next one and whatever. Like, I love that series. I don't know. It's just like, why are we becoming so one-dimensional again?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Being so boring.
Yeah, it's like, and maybe partly I will put a little blame on Hollywood because they're giving us all these like reruns or remakes and all this, and it's like, okay, maybe we have gotten bored of it. But like, I was having a conversation with someone the other day where it's almost like I miss those shows where they're just one-off episodes. I don't need to know what's happened 5 episodes before.
Yeah, it's just goofy.
Yeah, because like I'm right now watching How I Met Your Father. I've never seen How I Met Your Mother.
Me neither.
And now what I've seen is they're bringing in characters from How I Met Your Mother and connecting it and stuff. And I'm like, can we not just have a show that's not connected to anything?
Not connected to anything.
And I'm sorry, I'm blaming that on Marvel. I am. Everything has to connect.
They started it. I think
they mainstreamed it.
They mainstreamed it. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I think you and I have had this conversation. One of my things, going back to Hollywood again, is I want a good, like, I love Disney movies. I'm a big Disney adult. Like, I love Disney. And I told Ashton this. I was like, what I want is a good, old-fashioned, bad guy, good guy movie.
Yeah.
Like, not a complicated backstory, not I was traumatized.
They're a bad guy.
They're just a bad villain. Think Hades, bad guy. We don't know why.
Well, like the movie we watched last night, the Jack and the Beanstalk.
Jack and the Beanstalk.
The woman's just evil.
The woman's just evil, and there's nothing other reason for it. Like, bad guy. I just want, like, I want another Cruella. I don't want a Cruella whose mother was killed and really it was the woman traumatized. Yeah. No, I don't want that. I don't want to know why Maleficent cursed Aurora other than pure pettiness. Like, no, pettiness was why she was so cool.
Yeah.
I want the evil queen who's just willing to kill her niece, her stepdaughter, because she's prettier than me.
Yeah.
That's a horrible person.
Yes.
But the world is full of horrible people sometimes. It is just so much fun to just get behind going, that guy's a bad guy.
Like,
that guy's a bad guy.
Okay, it's almost like I want like an evil character, the villain. I want a villain that's scary. Why are they scary? Because they're just mad.
They're just angry.
Yeah. Because, like, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because we had the unfortunate experience 2 days ago.
No.
Of watching 2 episodes of this show called From. And it's like, great story. Great
show for sure.
But that's where it's like this show it's scary because of these monsters, but there's all this story to it, which, again, story is great to it, but it's like,
story is very important.
I don't need something to be scary because of this whole backstory. Just make them scary. Just give me a monster. I'm scared. Great. End of story, I don't need why they're scary. I don't need where they came from. They're just mad.
And if they are scary and you want to build on why, then
there's your sequel.
There's your sequel. But establish it early on that these things are scary and not have a background. Like, I can tell you how many times I love the movie Encanto. I loved a movie Encanto. Is there anyone who can say that Abuela is their favorite Disney villain?
Yeah.
No. She's just a traumatized grandma, which I appreciate being real. Like, there are some things out there that I appreciate the realness of that, and that's what makes Encanto so beautiful, because it's a family, and family trauma, and stuff like that. But, and that started, I think Disney started on villains, like, I think Frozen started it, if you want me to be honest. She doesn't need no man. She's got the love of her sister.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. And we love that. But let's be honest, it's a little, like, sometimes in this world full of really hard things, you just need
a simple story.
You just need a simple story of good conquering evil.
Yep.
Like, I think one of the reasons I'm so excited for Disney movies, Elemental, shown right here. Take that. One of the best things about Elemental is that it's just going to be an old-fashioned love story. Like, that's all it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell there's not going to be a secret quest they're going to go on.
No.
It's literally going to be a girl who's fire, a guy who's water. He's going to meet her dad. It's going to be awkward.
Yeah.
And they're going to learn how to be a relationship with just water and fire. And that's it.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a huge twist. There might be a huge twist. I hope there's not a huge twist.
From seeing the trailer from that, the cool thing about the movie is that you get to watch the world around.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I'm just entranced in this. But I don't have to, like, you know, it's one of those, like, I get the story. Like, when I watched the trailer, I was like, okay, I understand the story immediately. Cool. Now I can just watch everything around. I don't have to, like, pay attention. Oh, shoot, I missed something.
The first teaser trailer was incredible because it introduced the world instantly. Yeah. Like, the girl, like, I talk about the animation for it because it's incredible. It's amazing. So cool. And again, Pete Docter, one of the best directors of all time. I hope he makes every great movie. I think his only mistake is making a second Inside Out, but that's a sequel conversation. Yeah. We'll go back to that. But like, in just small moments, one of the things I noticed in the first time I saw the first teaser trailer for Elemental, she had on her hood. And if you look closely, it's like chain link. And you can see her fire inside of it, which is amazing because in a world where that fire has to be there, they need stuff to protect them. Yep. And I think of, like, there was one of the water guys sneezed and got water on the earth guy and his hair grew. And he's like, oh, okay. Like, you see that and you see those interactions because, like, if it was, like, say, a water and an earth guy, they would absorb each other. Yes. And so, and water puts out fire. Yep. And, like, it's just a beautiful premise for a beautiful idea for a simple story. Yes. And it's not going to be complicated. No. Unless they choose to suddenly pull a Brave on us. Yeah. And it's going to be way more complicated than they're letting on, which I hope they don't, because it is beautiful where it is. And this is just, like, it's the first time in a long time I'm just like, I am excited for this movie. And, like, even the Mara movie, I'm like, I've been excited, but I'm, like, not in love with the idea. Elemental, I've been watching as soon as they announced it was coming. And I just want a good old-fashioned boy meets girl or boy meets boy, but mostly boy meets girl, only because that's the that's the past, like, that's the old fashioned. What I mean, or by old fashioned, I mean old fashioned. Yes. And I feel like if you bring in boy and boy or girl and girl, it brings up a whole other can of worms. And that sucks. It sucks that we're at that point in life. Yes. But I want that old fashioned girl meets boy, they fall in love and figure out their relationship. Yep. I want an old fashioned villain is villain for villain's sake. Yes. Not, I want to, like, Scar killed his brother and tried to kill his nephew because he wanted the crown. That's it. Yep. Cruella just wanted a really cute coat. That's it. That's it. Hades, he wanted to be king. Wow, there's a trend here. That's it. They weren't some kind of future version of this guy who went back in time and all this other garbage. Nah. Just give me Maleficent was evil because one person didn't invite her to their baby's birthday party. Yep. She's like, that baby's gonna die. Yep. Congratulations for not inviting me to your party. Like, that's just evil. That's petty. That's stupid. It's perfect.
Yeah, I think that's makes one of the reasons. Scared.
And if you're gonna do it real, people, do it Mother Gothel. Yeah. Like, Mother Gothel is a villain for villain's sake. And she all she wants is, she's completely selfish. And I think that's Mother Gothel is my favorite Disney villain. Because, yes, she's super real, but she's also just evil. Yeah. Like, I know people who have parents like that. Yes. And they are very real people. But she's just evil for evil's sake. It's because she's selfish, and that's
Yeah.
all it is. And if you're gonna make it real, make them real enough to believe. Which Abuela, she's great. Mother Gothel's my favorite because she's just evil.
Yeah.
Just a real life evil. Abuela, she eventually. I don't want villain turned hero again, or villain to like, or what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? A sympathetic villain. That's it. I don't want no sympathetic. I don't want sympathy for him. I want to hate them. Like, I think of Thanos.
Yeah.
That moment when Thanos... Spoiler alert! When they killed off Thanos was one of the greatest moments of all time. Oh, it was so powerful. Because you knew... Like, he thought he was right. And that's why he was a great villain, too.
Yes.
Because he was a bad guy.
Yep.
He's just like, I'm doing it for the greater good.
Yep.
Greater good for, personally, the world. But it wasn't the world. Like, his villain, when he died, it was the most satisfying thing in the entire world.
I loved Ultron. He's one of my favorite villains.
Yeah.
He was just like, you humans are stupid. I want computers. Like,
you humans are stupid. Let me fix this.
Yeah.
Like, villainy for villainy sake. Like, just like, they think they're right.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. When they know and think they're right.
Yep.
And they have no qualms with that.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm right, though. And he's like, you're not, though. But I am, and and if you think of the world's worst people on Earth now, that's exactly who villains are.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm right. You're
Based
not right.
on...
No, based on this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, all people.
Well, that's like, too, like, just like, his death was very, satisfying. President Snow in the Hunger Games. You know, because he was just like, this is what I want to do.
He's like, look at them. They're holding hands. I want them dead.
Yeah.
He was a villain.
We didn't get any backstory on him.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, we're probably going to eventually.
In this new movie.
We're going to now.
That's coming out.
Like, no one cares. No, I won't bring that up. That's dumb. I'll tell you about it later. But, like, knowing they're a villain is, like, the greatest.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just bring me back to the old times where, like, Hopper in Bug's Life. He's just a dude who didn't want to work. He's just a dude who's like, let's get these creatures to do it. We're bigger. Wait, I'm bigger than you? I'm stronger than you? Oh!
Yeah.
We can do this! And I loved the fact that in the story, like, of Bug's Life, now I'm talking about Bug's Life, that's a great Disney movie, too. He's like that scene, I think one of the most powerful scenes of when a little kid that scared the crap out of me, but made me understand, was that scene in the bar sorry, it was at the grain place, and he's like, we're not going back to Antlion, we're gonna stay here, we're gonna be fine. And he's like, wait, but there was that one ant that stood up to me. And they're like, ants are puny, you'll be fine. And he goes, you're right. And he grabs a seed, he goes, pretend that this is one little ant. And he goes, did that hurt? No. If this was one ant, throws out another. Did that one hurt? No, they're tiny. It's fine. And he goes, well, how about this? And he dumps the seed. Do you remember this scene? It's dark. Like, he just throws the seeds on these three dudes, and they're dead.
Yeah.
They're dead. And you don't comprehend that as a child, but as an adult, you're like... But even as a kid, you're like, what the fetch?
Yeah.
And he goes, if you let one, and again, he's evil, so it's perfect. You let one stand up to you, then another one might stand up, and then the all will stand up. And that's exactly what happened. And he's like, we've got to keep control of this. And when they all stand up, but like in that moment, you're like, this guy's bad. You know, like, oh shoot, this dude just killed 3 dudes to make a point.
Well, even, I don't know why this made me think too. The butler in the Aristocats.
Oh my gosh.
He was just petty.
He just was like, the cats are getting the money?
Yeah.
The cats are getting my hard-earned money, which honestly, I feel like anyone would feel this way.
Yes.
Anybody could feel I think I would feel slighted.
Yes.
If the woman I spent most of my life serving gave all of her cats her money and gave me nothing unless the cats unless the cats were to leave.
Yeah.
And that's another way of being real. Because that's a legit reaction. That's a legit feeling. I think we're all capable of being that evil. We are. I'm sorry. I think we all are. But I also think that we are what makes us human is knowing that we shouldn't.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then when the villains show up are those people who decide to.
Yep.
Everyone is capable of it, but not everyone is.
Yes.
No, everyone thinks about it. Not everyone will do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And those people who do it are the villains. Are the actual villains.
Yes.
And those people are the best villains.
Uh-huh.
The ones who actually do something about and reacting to their worst tendencies. Like the worst of human basics. And Abuela's great, but she realizes the problem of her ways. I think one of the reasons why Loki was so crazy at first was because he was unapologetically evil. Now he's all sympathetic and I'm not interested in him anymore because he's like...
They changed him.
Like, I mean... I think of... Because our first look at Loki was... Was it Thor or was it Avengers? It was Thor, wasn't it?
No, it was Thor.
It was Thor. And so we got a better... But, like, after... Like, but he started out fine, and then he turned out to be evil. And then he came back, which is, like, the whole... What we all hope for. Like, it's great they're ending the circle. But it's not good enough, because he has his ultimate villain stage was 100% in the first Avengers movie.
Yep.
And it was glorious, because he was, like, snarky, because everybody loves a snarky villain. Just look at the Disney villains. Everyone loves a snarky villain. Everyone loves a brat villain. Everyone loves an entitled villain. Until they're underneath someone else's boot.
Yes.
Like, I mean, think of that scene in Avengers. Oh my gosh, I forgot about this scene and it just clicked in. That scene in Avengers where he's like, everyone kneel before me. Do you remember that? When Loki goes to, like, Belgium or something? And he's like, everyone kneel! And he screams at everyone and everyone kneels. Like, the crowd's just like, what the fetch? Okay, what's happening? Like, I'm in danger. And then that one guy, like, and I found this out from, like, looking up stuff, but this one old guy stands up and he goes, I don't kneel for men like you. He goes, there are no men like me. And he goes, there's always men like you. And he goes, well, now watch. And then he goes, like, look at him, because he will be the first one to die. And then he tries to shoot him, and then Captain America shows up with his shield and is like, don't touch my dude. But, like, that is a scene of showing what villainy is. If you're going to be a villain, show him horrible moments. Abuela, I keep going back to Encanto. I'm sorry, I don't mean to. Abuela, I think she's handled well. She's still the villain of the story, and anyone who says she's not, she's a villain. She's a villain. She's the antagonist. I wouldn't say she's a villain, but she is an antagonist.
Yes.
And her reasons are fair. I could see myself turning into the villain for those reasons. Like, you know, if your husband was killed right in front of you. Yeah, I probably would become the exact same way. But, like... Sorry, I had some existential dread there for a minute. That was a lot.
Went somewhere for a minute.
Wow, that was dark. But, like, if they never had made her redemptive arc, like if she had decided to stay the way she was, that would have made her an even better villain. Like, unapologetic. Like, I think it's good when you try to make it real, to make them more apologetic. But in all honesty, this market is too full of apologetic and sympathetic villains. We need some bad ones, just bad old villains. I want my kids to have bad villains, okay? That's what I want. I want my kids to experience what I did. But
I'm interested, like, how that new Ninja Turtles movie's gonna go.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Because that's kind of like a classic property of, like, good versus evil type thing.
It is. Because they were bad for bad sake, period. Not the turtles, the villains, not the turtles. Such an interesting thing.
Anyway.
I feel like we're winding down. What do you think?
Yeah. Okay. It's almost been an hour and a half.
Well, I like talking with you.
Well, yeah, it's been good.
It's been really good. So that was good.
That was just a talk.
You and I haven't had a one-on-one like that. Well, no, we have them all the time. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We have them all the time.
We have them a lot. It's just, we don't get to share them.
Yeah, we don't get to share them to other people.
Yeah.
Because those are kind of exclusive feelings that you and I get to, only we get to see of each other like that. And, because Ashton's one of the few people I can share every single thing I'm thinking about. And without judgment and with love. And I think it's important for us to show dynamics, because Ashton and I are both very different people.
Yes.
We balance each other out. Like, we are literally the yin and yang of each other. And occasionally we meet together and we make, like, the greatest stuff.
We are that classic opposites attract. We are that.
Mm-hmm. Except for the moments when we aren't opposites and we're exactly the same.
Yes.
Except for those small moments.
I think a lot of that, though, at this point, comes from how long we've been friends.
How comfortable we are with each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a huge part because gay, straight, white, black, male, female, like, it's very, and religious, still religious, but like not exactly religious.
I'd say spiritual.
Religious and spiritual. Mm-hmm. That's the best way to put it. Yeah, that's the greatest way to put it. And I love this dude. He's my dude. I love you. Oh, fat, thin. I forgot the other one. I knew I was missing one.
Was it?
We were 14.
14?
I think it was 14.
Because it was 8th grade?
8th grade. And 7th grade, 6th grade, I turned 12.
Flashback. Wow, okay, so it's been...
for 10 years.
11.
11, yeah.
11 years.
I can't math.
11 the math years. Ain't mathin'.
And I have a feeling that we're still going to be together in 11 years. Now, if we're not, it's okay.
Then what happened?
Yeah, what happened? Well, something happened, and it's either...
Because we've gone through a lot in the first 11.
We have heart failure, moving, depression, anxiety. Mm-hmm. Lots of those on both sides. Coming out. His, not fully mine. Well, I'm asexual. There we go. I got it. I'm asexual. I said it. Woo. On internet. Anyway. I don't know. I don't know if I call that my coming out, though. I'm still figuring it out. I'm pretty sure I'm asexual, but I'm figuring it out.
That's another conversation I could have.
With you and me? In front of people?
Just in general. It's... coming out because... Sorry. One more.
We were going to finish, but we are now.
So, coming out... Like, I mean, and you hear it all the time of, you come out multiple times. Mm-hmm. And that sucks.
Yeah, it sounds like it
would. Well, because it's annoying. It's like, you know, you never go up to someone and are like, are you straight? You know, but it's like, you have to go up, like... Because of my situationship right now, it's like I would have to go up to him and be like, are you gay?
Why can't we do that, though? See, my asexual butt is like, why don't we just walk up and say, what's your... Like, now, because we're asking, what's your pronouns?
Yeah.
Because we need to start asking...
What's your sexuality?
What's your sexuality? Are you gay, straight, bi, what, like...
Like, that should be a part of it.
That should be part of it.
Otherwise...
Let's normalize that, you and me. We'll normalize it.
Yeah. Otherwise, I am gay. Thank you for asking.
Good, you're welcome.
Otherwise, I would be that petty parent and be like, I want my kid to come out to me as straight.
I've heard about that. That's a lot of people are like, that should be the standard. Like, they don't come out, like, they don't have a sexuality until they've discovered it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I would be so confused with that as a child. I don't think, because for me, it's always for, like, being heterosexual. Ace hetero, whatever.
All the above.
All of the above. I think for me, it's always like I've always known that I was hetero. Like, guys, I can think of moments when I was like 4, and I was like, "Ooh, that boy's cute. I want to kiss his lips. That would be fun." Like,
and see, I've known like the earliest I can remember is 8 of like. Ooh, I'm attracted to guys, but then, you know, for me, it went on of, oh, my parents are saying it's bad, oh, you know, this person is saying it's wrong. Well, then in high school, it was hard in high school, because when I was in high school, it was right around the time of, like...
You started dying?
Well, that, too. But just, like, the conversation was... just starting to become not so hush-hush. You know, it was finally being like, okay, gays exist, and we don't have to...
As a lot of things are, too. Like, just think of, like, mental health stuff nowadays. Like, that's way more open, too, which is crazy.
But, like, so, in high school, it was this whole conversation of, like, oh, well, if someone's gay, like, are you okay that they're gay? You know, it was, like, this whole thing, because I remember being asked multiple times, like, would you be okay being friends with a gay person? Like, and then it was like this whole thing of, it's okay if you're gay as long as you don't bring me into it. As long as you don't...
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that too.
And so it made it so difficult for me to really be like, this is who I am, because I went so back and forth of like, I can't, I shouldn't, I don't know, yes, no, because I will say your friend did ask me, and I get this multiple times. I'm like, well, then aren't you bi? Because I've had multiple girlfriends. Well, aren't you bi? And it's like,
that bugged me a little. I'll be honest. I was like, that's not how it works.
But okay. I'll say it does bug me, but I'm getting to the point of like, I'm used to it. Unfortunately,
it's uneducation.
Yes,
that's what it is. It's people who aren't educated about it as much.
But that's like for my answer to that is like, well, you know, I was still figuring myself out. You know, it's like, good for y'all that just know you're straight.
Yeah, sometimes I feel bad being straight only because I'm like, man, I don't have to go through that hardship, and I feel bad that I can't sympathize with you on that. Like, yes, woe is me, the heterosexual in the room. Well, woe is me. Sorry.
No, I was just, it's, I don't know, it's just one of those things of like, you have, well, and okay, I feel bad for like people who didn't get to experiment, we'll say. Until they were much older.
Until they were adults?
Yeah, because then it's like, I don't know if they knew. Maybe they did know. Some people just know. But like, some of them might have not gotten to know until they were like 50 or 60 or something. And it's like, and I will say the really sad thing, and this is something with TikTok that I'm realizing. I mean, it makes me a little more of like, okay, I'm not alone, but it's still sad that it's a thing, is... and not that I would have wanted it, but I wouldn't have. I would have wanted it, but I don't think I could have had it because of what I was going through, type of thing. But like, none of us get to have our actual like high school love stories. Like the ones that are authentic to us. We might have had girlfriends or whatever in high school, but it's like,
you never had a boyfriend.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's never an official one.
Yes.
I'm just saying. You totally had a boyfriend in high school.
Did. Yes.
I totally would call him that.
Yes. Just nothing ever happened,
Nothing ever could happen.
Yes.
Kind of a thing. And I think that's another interesting thing to think about. Like, I don't know. I feel so... and I totally believe, like, I'm thinking about what keeps popping into my mind is my first real reaction to an openly gay teen. Do you remember that kid who moved into school our sophomore year and he was in the theater department? Do you remember him? And he was a queen is the best way for me to put it. He was a queen. And he was awesome. And he and I became so close. Like,
yes, the image is starting to come back to me.
He was super fun. I adored him. And I hit the wrong... Fine. Okay, sorry. I hope I hit the right button. He was probably one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. Like, I adored this guy.
Yeah.
He had some things that I was like, you're kind of annoying, but like, that's people. That was more of a personality thing rather than a sexuality thing.
Yeah.
He was so gay. It was amazing. And he and I became pretty dang close. But I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I grew up in St. George, which is a bubble within a bubble.
Yes.
And it threw me off. I was like, I love this guy.
Yeah.
But I was scared at like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, I remember going to my mom in tears, like, Mom, this kid is amazing. This dude is so cool. I love being his friend.
Am I allowed to almost?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, am I okay to feel this way?
Yeah.
What? Like, am I breaking some kind of commandment from God? To being this person's friend and staying close to them, and if he has a crush on a boy, trying to get him to hook up with him, like, is that wrong of me?
Like, nowadays, like, my hard thing with that, is like, because I saw many friends that are in the religion and stuff, and great for them.
Hi.
But like, now my thing that I'm experiencing that's like that is a lot of, and it's one of those, it's like, they're just having the internal debate with themselves, but I'm hearing it, and it's almost like, you sit there for a minute, you're like, okay, Like, so I can do it for you, but you're questioning if you can do it for me, type of thing. But basically, I have a lot of friends, not so much anymore, but like when I very first came out, a lot of them were like, oh, am I going to be able to go to your wedding? And it was...
I had a conversation with that too.
I don't know, that's a little rough for me. It's like, who am I going to have...
A small group of people?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I go back to my mom. My mom was like, you love them and you stay his friend, and if you do what you feel is right. Yeah. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yes. Yes, why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
And when you got, I had some looks when I told people, when you came out, and this is just my personal experience, because as I said, I'm still a member.
Yeah.
And I say this with all the love in the world. Some people were like, I'm going to his wedding. I'm not going to feel bad about being in the wedding. I am going to be in that wedding party. I'm forcing myself into his wedding party.
She will be my best man. My husband can get his own best man.
Yeah. I am involved. I am going to be there. And I don't feel bad about it. And I did have a moment where I'm like, is it wrong for me to do this? And I'm like, I can't imagine a second of not being there for you on one of your happiest days of your life.
Right.
No. Of course I'm going to be there.
Especially just again, I, until about 2021.
Sorry.
I never thought I'd have a boyfriend. I'd even kiss a boy, any
Kissing
of that.
is gross.
But to think about now of my wedding day can be what I had hoped it would be now, And so, it kind of goes back of to actually be there now. Though.
Yeah. And I'm speaking for me, and I'm going to say this as a member. I'm speaking with my own personal revelation. I think different people have different opinions and different feelings and what they feel is right or wrong for them. Like anybody else, not just sorry, I didn't mean to kick that. Not like anybody else in a church, not just my church, but in period, people have what they believe is right and wrong. And for me, not being there for him would be wrong. Period. And I'd be there for my Uncle Timmy, who would be up there, in a heartbeat. If he was getting married, I don't think he wants to get married, in all honesty. I don't really know, because he's been single, most of his life, I think. He may have had a boyfriend. I don't know. But, I was a child.
Yeah.
When that boyfriend probably was around. Actually. Anyway. I think it's very, very, very important to recognize the most important thing is loving a person.
Yeah.
And seeing where that point would be.
Yeah.
For me, one of my points when I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stick, you're my best friend. Why wouldn't I be there?
Well, didn't you go to your bishop about this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, when I first realized, so I went to my bishop when I first realized you were gay.
Yeah. When you first realized.
When I first realized.
Not when I came out.
Not when you came out. No. No, in high school, after I moved, when your heart went into failure, I went, oh my gosh, my best friend's gay. And I remember going to my mom, like, Mom, I think Ashton's gay. She's like, you think? And I'm like, yeah. I think Ashton's gay. And she's like, really? And I was like, and I had that thing I had with that guy in sophomore year.
Yep.
I had this almost the same reaction.
Yep.
And I remember going to my bishop, which is the equivalent of our pastor in our church. I went to him and had a one-on-one. I said, okay, here's the deal. My best friend, I'm almost 100% is gay. Just from how he is, he's gotten a new friend, and this friend and him are way closer than what friends are. If I saw a girl with a guy doing this, they would be dating.
Yeah.
And I felt very strongly on this. I said, he's my best friend. And I remember bringing up the wedding question then, too. I was like, if I was supposed to be in a wedding party, what am I supposed to do? And he goes, I think that's something you need to figure out for yourself. And he gave an opinion that I don't agree with. Period. He also gave an opinion I was like, it didn't sit great with me. But I also, and I told my mom that after, too. I'm like, Mom, I still don't feel good about that. It doesn't feel right. And she goes, well, then figure out what feels right.
Yeah.
Figure that out. Because, and I'm like, okay. And for me, that comes to talking to God a lot.
Yeah.
That comes down to recognizing who I am, recognizing who these people are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that comes down to that. And I was like, yeah, no, I am totally fine with that. And later on, after this whole experience, after I realized it, Ashton and I played a game of life. Do you remember that game of life?
Yeah, that was like 2018 or something.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
I remember this game of life. It was a couple years later. Was it 2018? I don't think it was that close to my mission, was it?
Yeah, 'cause a lot happened.
A lot happened at that time.
Yeah.
So I thought it was in like right before graduation, but I could be wrong.
No, we were out of high school.
We were out of high school. Okay, see.
Because I knew Mariah.
In all honesty, my life after 2014, I don't remember much till about 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, because it was traumatizing for me. But anyway, I remember that game of life, and I remember just flat out saying to you, I'm like, we were talking about our alter egos.
Well, we made our characters.
We made our characters gay. We made our characters gay because we thought it was fun. We thought it would be fun.
Yeah.
But I also at the same time was like, Ashton, like, if you need to, you can tell me kind of a thing.
Hey.
I was like, I remember what our conversation, how we got there, but I was like, well, I always wondered if you might have been bisexual.
Well, so...
Was that at the game of life? Was that? No, it wasn't, huh?
No, so, it was right before I came out. It was about June of 2021.
Was it really that far later?
Uh-huh.
Right.
So, because I remember, I was living with my friends at the time, and they were out on a camping trip for a week. And I had just gotten one of those diamond art things for Scooby-Doo.
That's right.
And I was sitting on the floor in our, like, living room of the house, watching The Fairly Odd Parents. You had called, so I put it on pause, but...
Because I always do phone calls.
But I was just sitting on the floor doing that, and I don't remember how we got there, but I can hear it in my head out, just you being like, I would be okay if you were bisexual or whatever, and I, like, went, oh my gosh, how did she know?
I think you were struggling with something at that point, and I think I could tell. I think that was what it was. I think, were you talking about the fact that you were talking to that one guy?
No, he wasn't in the picture yet.
No, he wasn't in the picture yet? Okay. I don't remember timelines. I don't remember timelines.
Yes, no, he was... I think what it was just... And I think a lot of people were seeing this was just the decline of Mariah and I.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wouldn't call it a decline. I would call it a stagnation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have called it a decline.
The reason I'm feeling like it was a decline is because the year prior, it was stagnant. And then...
Toward the end, it did.
And then it hit...
Downhill.
Yeah, it's just started going down, but I think that's more internally for me because it's like I suddenly was just getting whiplashed with, where's the ring? When are you guys gonna do this? When is
you were asked that a lot. Yes. I asked that.
Like
sure.
Everybody was asking me all these questions, and I started to get to the point of like, I don't want it.
Yeah,
I don't want this. Like I don't want it with her.
I think that's. I remember you doing that. Because I remember, like, sitting there and you'd say, oh, we're thinking another year or two. And then
I kept pushing
a year or two later, you would say, oh, we're thinking another year or two. And I'm like, okay. That's when I noticed the stagnation. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. I was like, okay, babe.
Yeah.
I'm asking you this because you're not moving.
Yeah.
And if you're not moving, you're sinking kind of a thing. It's kind of one of those things like it's not an escalator. What's the thing that does... ladder? It's like a moving ladder is what else to call it. It's like a ladder that's always coming down, but you always are continually climbing it. You know what I'm talking about? But then you stopped. And you're like, we'll get up there. I'm going to make it to that step. Yeah. I'm going to make it to this. It's this step we're going to. We're going to that step. It's like, yeah, but now you're lower than where you were before.
Yeah.
Climb up to that step. Okay, we're here. But we're not ready. We're here now, we have to go back up to here. And that was where I was worried about you.
Yeah.
I remember asking you that. Like, at the beginning of your relationship, I was asking that all the time. Because it's me, and I love weddings. Weddings are just fun. I don't care who you are. They're fun. But, it was that. Yes. That's why I was asking. I remember that's why I was asking. I'm not trying to justify my actions. I'm sharing genuinely.
And, like, some of my other friends, like, I would, walk her out to her car when she was leaving or whatever. And then I'd come back and it was always, did you do this? You weren't out there long enough. Aren't you guys at this place yet? Aren't you guys doing this yet? And whatever. And
don't push your standards on what I do in my relationship.
Well, and so because of that, we jumped. We all of a sudden went.
You guys were together quick too, from finding out you liked each other. I feel like
it was 3 years
to starting to date.
Uh-huh.
Starting the time I didn't exist, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Sorry.
Well, and you were out on your mission during that time too.
You got together with Mariah, but way before my mission.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying in all of that, it was like...
Oh. It was during
sporadic.
the time where we weren't talking because I was on a mission. Yeah. Okay. So we didn't talk as much as we...
But yeah, so her and I just like went within like... I mean, so you said that to me in June. Mm-hmm. And then probably like a week or so later is where we just went... Mm-hmm. And then that's when... it just like clicked to me of like, I mean, I don't know, clicked, but it was just like, it was like the final like straw of like, I don't want this. Mm-hmm. This is not what I want. And it's nothing against her.
She's great. Mm-hmm. She's an incredible woman. Like I really like her.
Yeah.
And I think when you first started your relationship, I'm serious when I say this. Like I still saw you super happy. Mm-hmm. Like you were, and I could be wrong. Maybe I saw it incorrectly, but like, you looked so happy.
Well, because she became my best friend.
Okay.
How I have seen it and felt it is, it was like, because I lost that boy. Mm-hmm. And I kind of went, where do I go? What do I do? You know, because he was there so much in high school. And then she came into my life. And it, like, this sounds really mean, but I heard it in a podcast. She became a convenience. You know, she was just kind of like, she just showed up. Mm-hmm. And like, not that I think, you know, that she's not her own person or anything, but it was just very easy to be like, you and I. And so, yeah, I don't know. She became like my best friend and everything.
Kind of became a tether, it sounds like.
Yeah, it was just like we were very inseparable in a way, you know. It was just
you guys were always together. It felt like
we weren't together. It was just talking to each other all the time.
Well, I mean, like in the same room, like together. Really?
Yeah, because of her condition.
Well, I guess when the condition showed up, that's true.
Yeah.
I just mean like when after my mission and stuff, I feel like you guys were always around each other. Like, we're gonna go see Mariah. We're gonna go see Mariah. We're gonna go see Mariah or something. I
always just felt like I couldn't see her because it was this or that. Anyway, but yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's just, you know, I was happy, but I think too, I made that like, I was justifying it in my head of like, okay, well this is what's supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. This is how it's supposed to be. This is
the next step.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see you doing that.
Yeah.
100%. Wow. We've unpacked a lot today. Thank you for coming to our trauma dump.
I know.
Goodness gracious, we've unpacked a lot today.
Do we feel lighter?
I feel good. I love talking. Do you need a hug? I feel like you need a hug.
I can't even move. It's fine.
Love you. I love you.
Sorry.
Did you just burp on me?
Not on you.
Yeah, you did. It reached my arm. I felt the air. See, like that again. Yeah, don't do that. I felt my my arm hairs move. It was like
the face milk.
The face milk. All right, should we do our end cards, Ashton?
Wrap this one up finally.
Ashton, we've been sitting here for an hour,
almost
50
2
minutes.
hours.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
Well,
that was a good talk.
That was a really good
conversations.
Talk. It was a really good conversation. I think
kind of a spur of the moment thing. But yeah, I think that's when they best happen.
Yeah, and I think it's important for us to at times be real and not just be internet people. I say internet people like I'm an internet person. I'm more on the internet than an internet person. But I think sometimes you just need that real...
Just sit down. And like for me, I feel like it's harder because this is what I do, you know, all day, every day.
And you have a personality, like your internet personality kind of
that, thing, and know? I don't talk to people face to face as much anymore, you know, and so it's good for me to just kind of...
To blab.
Yeah.
I think that's good. I think it's good.
With feedback. Because
yeah.
I can blab all I want, but nothing's coming back at me, you know? So
I think we had a really, really good discussion.
Yeah.
And I thank you for letting me come to this, because it was pretty. It was good. It also started snowing at one point.
Oh,
it stopped
I can't
now.
see.
Yeah, you can't see the window, but I can see the window.
Pretty.
It's over now. Sorry.
It's fine.
Well, thank you guys for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe.
If you guys need to dump any thoughts out, do so in the comments. Honestly, that would be cool for like a future video for us. You guys should leave us like either things that have happened for you that you feel comfortable sharing, or just topics that you would like us to talk about. Like, in a way, like, think of it in a way similar to Am I the A-hole? Am I
Ooh, we should do that kind of a thing. Yeah, but, like you ask for advice.
But yeah, just kind of like, this happened or this is happening, like, what do we feel? What do we think? Or whatever. I think that could be a lot of fun. It may be a hot minute until we do that video, just because we live a distance away. But do so we can get prepped for it.
Yeah, ask any questions. But Ashton and I were both very open about who we are,
and we will be nice
what
about
we believe.
it.
Oh yeah,
you know, whatever it is, we're not going to be.
We're not going to be judgmental.
Why would you do that? You know,
unless you did something really, like. Unless you did something really, which
then kudos to you for sharing that online.
Really stupid. Yeah, if you want to drop an anonymous one, that'll be fine. Just know that, like, I love doing those. I love helping give advice. I may not be correct in everything I say. I'm gonna put that disclaimer there. This is all opinions.
It's just based on our life experience.
So, yeah, please, thanks for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. And I don't know if this is gonna be the last video.
Who knows?
Put it out as we
don't know what's coming. What's that?
We've got a couple videos that we've made.
We're just making all the content.
All right, we'll see y'all in the next one.
Thanks for coming out, everybody.
Bye.